Good day, great day, and grand day to you all. Welcome back on another segment of Dr. TSA Series, a spiritual discussion. My name is Dr. Terry Ordaid. Thank you for joining us on my YouTube channel. Today's topic is called Don't Be Fooled. What do I mean by that? A lot of times people are preparing for events or planning to purchase a house or planning to get married or asking for the love of their lives, a partner, male, female, what have you, to have a relationship with, to have children with, to attain an empire, if you will. And a lot of times when those things happen, people tend to say, oh, wow, God blessed me with this, or, this was great. I'm blessed and highly favored. This came from the Creator, and this is great, and this was meant to be. And I want to say how false that is a lot of the times. Of course, not all of the times, because sometimes these things are aligned with what you're meant to do. If you don't understand and if you don't know who you are and what your path is, we can be easily misguided by these events because we are trying to fulfill an ideal of the mind and not the path of your spirit. I'll give a very classic example. A lot of times you hear people talk about, oh, I want a man, I want to find a man, I want to get married, or I want to find a woman and get married and build my empire, buy a home, live in a picket white fence, a dog, and some children. A lot of people tend to have these ideas that they want. And sometimes people go out and create that for themselves without being patient, without understanding what they're supposed to do here on planet Earth. And if you are pursuing these dreams or pursuing these ideals outside of your true essence and what you're meant to do, then oftentimes, if not all the times, when you're operating outside of your spirit, those events tend to end up in a disaster, whether it's divorce, whether it's primarily divorce if you're talking about relationships, if you're talking about a home, something happens to the home where the boiler breaks down or the whole piping system malfunctions. But at some point you said that this house was given to you by the Creator. This house was a gift from the Creator, not really understanding that sometimes on this planet, if not a lot of times on this planet, understanding that this planet is governed by or have paradoxical energies occurring on the planet, understanding that this is a battle between light and dark, and in order to have a counter and in order for us to be challenged, there has to be this negative aspect on this planet for us to be able to fight and earn and understand who we really are. But what darkness does, or if you want to say enemy, what the enemy does, if the enemy understands who you are and what you're meant to do here, what would make you think that the enemy would sit back and allow you to attain these things? And so sometimes the enemy guides you on a different path, making you think that that different path is where you're actually supposed to be, where you're supposed to get this house on Nashville Boulevard, as opposed to getting the house on Putnam County, on Bounty Street, or what have you. And so if the enemy of darkness realizes they can't stop you, they'll try to redirect your path into a direction that wasn't aligned with who you are. And without understanding that occurs here on our planet, we end up purchasing that house that wasn't meant for us, thinking that it was a blessing, when in actuality, it's a diversion off the path. So I use that house as an example. Another example, again, people into relationships, people say, oh, this is my partner, this is my soulmate, what have you. And a couple of months down the line or a year or two down the line, one realizes that they made the biggest mistake of their lives. So it's very, very, very important for one, if you are on the spiritual journey, to understand first of all, who you are as a spiritual being operating here in this physical plane and what your path is. With an understanding of that foundation, then you're liable to make decisions that are beneficial for you and that will continue to support your journey, and what's for you is for you. But sometimes people have these ideals in their mind that they've fostered in their minds that this is what they're supposed to do, and can be easily distracted or easily taken down a path that wasn't meant for them. I'll give you another example. Today, people are not waiting anymore to be in relationships with someone else, and sometimes decide to have children on their own. Now, I'm not saying that's a good or a bad thing. I'm not saying that at all. But if this is something that you are thinking of, that you have created in your mind that this is what you need because you understand this child is going to love you more than anyone else, or if you understand that having a child, whether you are going to be a single parent or whether you are in a relationship with someone, the desire to have a child, if it's a desire for self and not for humanity, that's a selfish desire. And oftentimes when we have these selfish desires, the children don't pan out or don't live, quote unquote, the lives that they were supposed to live because they were misguided. I want to stress how important it is for one to be aligned with their essence, with their spirit, to be able to make well-informed decisions about their lives and not be misguided or misdirected by energies of dark, making them think that they're supposed to be with partner X as opposed to partner Y and Z. It's very important to understand who you are as a spiritual being, understanding your path. Because if not, and we have these ideals and we pursue these ideals, we're moving further and further and further away from why we are here, or further away from the path that we were designed to live here on planet Earth. So we have to take some real hard look at who we are, a hard look on what the journey is, a hard look on what your purpose is here on life, in life, so that you can make well-informed decisions about your journey, and that all those decisions that you make support your journey to being the most powerful person that you are and that you have yet to discover yourself to be. We have to be very, very, very careful with that, because I see too often people get into relationships, have children, buy homes that is very difficult to kind of redirect themselves back to the journey of finding themselves and living the life that they're supposed to live. I'm not saying that it's impossible, but it becomes ever so more difficult when we're not making these decisions in line with our spirit. So there you have it. That's all for today. I hope and trust that this was helpful. I want to say, remember that you are loved, and thank you all for watching. Namaste. Mwah. Bye. And there you have it on another segment of Dr. TSA Series, a spiritual discussion. Thank you once again all for watching. Remember to click that thumbs up and subscribe. Also, remember you're loved. Namaste.